Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of Stupid Ideas from Bad Creative. And this one is on Roman Reigns as a main event star. Pretty much just post the Shield breakup. So, as normal, joined by Sid. Hello Sid.
Hey, how you doing?
And he knows nothing about wrestling.
Absolutely nothing.
Apart from what we discussed last episode.
Which we got through a fair bit of content. It was very educational.
Yes.
Felt like I gained a bit.
So now I've got to ask you, do you know Vince McMahon?
I do.
Do you know Triple H?
I do.
Do you know Roman Reigns?
We're gonna get there.
Yes, we are. Do you know Seth Rollins?
No.
Kane?
Yes.
Undertaker?
Yes.
John Cena?
Yes.
The Rock?
Yes.
John Cena?
Yes.
The Undertaker?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Okay. I thought I might get you there. So, a little bit of a backstory on what the Shield is. The Shield is a team. Consists of 3 people. It's got Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is known as John Moxley nowadays. He's in AEW.
Okay.
So if I say John Moxley...
That's what you mean.
Yeah. I shouldn't, but I might. So, they all come up at about the same time to the main roster. They were on NXT together, which is developmental.
Yep.
So they come up to the main roster, which is WWE's main shows. And they just wreaked house.
Oh.
The Undertaker got put through a table. Ryback got put through a table. John Cena. Pretty much anyone.
Yeah.
They were marketed as mercenaries. They were sort of brought in to be CM Punk's helpers. You know, he didn't have help to retain the belts because they're not on his side.
No,
but they sort of were.
They came in as sort of thugs for hire.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
His goons.
Yeah, except they just wouldn't acknowledge that. But as time went on, they got more and more popular. Mm-hmm. And they sort of just stopped being his guys. And Reigns and Rollins became tag team champions. Ambrose became US champion. All, I think, within a month of each other.
Yeah.
And then they sort of held that. They went on a huge undefeated streak and everything. And they became really popular. Then we got the Shield versus the Wyatt family, which I'm sure an episode will come about the Wyatts, because Bray Wyatt's really good, but Vince doesn't think so. Yeah, so they feuded with them, they feuded with Evolution, and eventually they broke up.
Okay.
Shortly after feuding with Evolution. We'll get to it. So...
But they came in as sort of the Goon Squad and became really popular, and they were known as the Shield.
Yes.
Alright.
Yep, the Shield. Cool name.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Rollins isn't a big guy. He's sort of one of them flippy guys. Mm-hmm. Really good. Probably the best wrestler of this generation.
Oh, wow. Yep.
At least in WWE.
Technical skills.
Yeah.
Because this is still post that roid thing that we were talking about last time.
Oh, yeah.
We're starting to get a lot of smaller wrestlers.
Oh, this is now.
Yeah.
But the roids were back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
So we're about 30 years removed. Well, matter of fact, we were 30 years removed. They come in 2012.
Okay.
So it was about 92-ish when they got rid of all Hogan and all them. So, yeah. Moxley Ambrose, he is crazy. Okay. He came up on the deathmatch circuit where you just did death matches. You barbed wire, light tubes,
right,
fire, all that sort of shit.
He came from that real extreme area you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. CZW was pretty much his home. It's still around now, mostly with GCW. But, yeah. And Roman Reigns, he's a part of the Anoa'i family, who is one of the most recognised families in wrestling. It's got such members as The Rock. Oh. Yeah, he's cousins with The Rock. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, that's the other one. You're going to know. Yeah, other people who are watching this will either know that family or they won't. So, you'll be in the same spot. But he's got cousins, the Usos, who he's right, like, they're in his faction nowadays and whatnot, so yeah. Yeah, and Roman Reigns, he's a big dude. He hits hard. Or at least that's how they portray him. Okay. He's a big dude, hits hard.
Not super technical, just...
Well, he's gotten more technical now, but, back then it was just really...
He was the one dropping you through the table.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they did a thing called the triple powerbomb, where Rollins and Ambrose would get on either side of a person, have their arms over their head, lift them up onto Reigns' shoulder, and then he'd powerbomb them.
Sounds good.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. Yeah. The Shield's cool.
And teamwork's always nice to see.
Yes, the Shield is cool. The Shield is great. Everyone loves the Shield.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Now, what we didn't realise is that we didn't like Roman Reigns.
Oh.
And it wasn't even that we didn't like him. It was that WWE wanted him to be the next John Cena.
Right.
And we don't like John Cena because Cena wins. So they pretty much just copy, paste.
Yeah. Right. We're going to try this again. It didn't work last time, but...
We're doing it again.
Yeah. Right.
And, well, it didn't work this time either. So, what I should say is that when it gets to me rebooking this, we're probably going to run from the Shield's breakup, which was in June of 2014, through to WrestleMania 31, which was April 2015.
Okay.
Also, WrestleMania 31, I believe, is the WrestleMania that I broke my arm before the day before, which was nice. I got to half watch that while waiting for it to be fixed. So, yeah. What happened exactly was the breakup of the Shield. That's what we're talking about. 2014, we had the Shield versus Evolution, which Evolution was a team back in the early 2000s that consisted of Triple H, you know him, Randy Orton, you should know him, Ric Flair, probably not.
You've mentioned, yeah.
Yeah, and Batista.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some big dudes.
Yeah. So they were a team. They ran for a bit, and then I think they got rid of Randy because they wanted to push Randy as his single star. That didn't work. And then the other three were sort of still together, and then Batista won in 2005 for a Rumble and turned on Triple H.
Yep.
And that sort of ended it. Flair retired in a couple of years' time. For the first time. Well, for the first proper time, okay. I think. I'm pretty sure he might have retired a couple of times.
Fake retired a couple of times.
Well, not even. Just unretired and then unretired. Now, he retired in 2008, losing to Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
In a match that is synonymous for its ending, where Shawn is standing there in the corner, tears in his eyes, says, "I'm sorry, I love you," and hits you with a super kick, 1, 2, 3. Ric Flair's kneeling in the ring just saying, come on, hit me. And super kick, 1, 2, 3, Flair retires.
Yeah.
Now, this year, he come out of retirement to do one last match.
Okay.
So he come out of retirement to retire again, and now they're talking about him doing more matches. Flair is about 103. Approximately.
Yeah.
And he's crazy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he liked to party back when he's always liked to party. He used to party a lot.
Yeah.
Plane Ride from Hell in 2002, he was that drunk that he was naked on the flight with just his robe on, but not done up or anything. He's just crazy. He gets drunk all the time and does a lot of drugs. But anyway.
So
that's Evolution.
Evolution.
Yeah.
Versus Shield.
Yeah. Ric Flair wasn't a part of Evolution this time.
Okay.
He was retired at this point.
So we've got Batista,
Randy,
Orton,
and Hunter.
And Triple H.
Yeah. So, they're fighting. I believe they have 3 matches on pay-per-view or something, so it's a 3-month run. And at the end, the Shield won on 3. And the next night on Raw, Triple H and Randy Orton come out. Batista had quit the company earlier in the show, too. Triple H comes out with a sledgehammer. Randy's there. And he says to the Shield, who are in the ring, Rollins went and got a chair. And he said, there's always a plan B. And at that point, Rollins went bang on the back of Roman Reigns.
Okay, so
And
they've beaten Evolution, and now they're doing their own little thing and breaking up.
Triple H has recruited Seth Rollins.
Okay.
Dean Ambrose stare there like, what?
The fuck?
What did... Huh? And then Rollins attacked the shit out of him as
You got left out of this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, there is... I might edit it in. There is a bloody... his facial reaction to it is just classic.
Give us a yeah.
Yeah, he really does just sort of go, what just happened? Yeah, so then after that you had Rollins and Ambrose, they feuded for a while.
As you'd expect.
Yep, but Roman Reigns, being the other person, was left out.
Mm-hmm.
What does he do? Well, the company goes, you're the next John Cena. And he goes, okay, cool, sounds good.
Was he sort of a leader of the Shield in a sense? Did they really have a...
Sort of. They didn't have a leader.
But
sort of, when you looked at it, you had Rollins, Ambrose, and then Roman sort of center.
Okay.
However, when you talk about the Shield, or when they talk about it, they tend to say that Roman was the muscle, Rollins was the mind, Ambrose was the leader.
Okay.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Roman was sort of the middle. He was the focal point.
Yeah.
The other two were just, yeah. So Roman was sort of, you know, I'll take the head of the company. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So then they went, put you in main event matches.
Yeah.
Everybody went, okay, that's all right. And then everybody sort of went, well, he's not as good without the other two. And
he's, struggling to hold himself up as a character.
Yeah. Given that his character at the moment is Samoan head of the company, which isn't much of a character.
Okay.
Other problem he has is that he's not that good on the mic.
Oh, okay.
So when he talks, he's sort of very clearly reading a script.
Oh, right.
Like, because WWE at this point really likes to write out everything.
Mm-hmm.
Say it word for word. Memorize that. So...
Right, he didn't give a natural feel to it.
No. So then everybody starts turning on him.
There's a hole in his acting.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Rollins and Ambrose are putting on match of the night, especially in Hell in a Cell, which is a cell that has weapons and everything. Like, yeah. Doesn't matter. Hell in a Cell is Hell in a Cell. I'm sure you can look it up and you'll figure it out. Hell in a Cell is also where Kane debuted.
Yeah, as you would expect, given his dark sort of...
He ripped the door off the cell and, yeah. Right, it's just... It's meant to be, that's where you end the feud. You know, it's come to this where you have to be locked inside of a cage with a roof on it. That's the difference between a cage and a cell. It's got a roof.
And beat on each other until you're done with this shit.
Yeah, basically. So, yeah. They were sort of putting on match of the night over there. Roman sort of, hi, I'm Roman. I'm
here to be your new bestie.
Yeah, I'm number one. And everybody's like, no, you're not. You're not. Rollins and Ambrose are. And Roman's like, no, I am. That's me. But, yeah, so. He goes on to have, obviously, matches against top guys. And...
Such as?
Oh, Randy, you know, just top guys. Randy, Cena, Sheamus. Just top guys. I can't remember exactly who's top guy around there, but yeah, them sort of guys. Until Battleground, which I believe was in around about July or August or somewhere around there. He got injured.
Oh.
So, already people are there going, he's not that great, is it? But now he's injured, so now he can't even...
Yeah.
You know?
Can't even come out and put on his performance.
No. So...
Real world injured?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, properly injured.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, he's sort of not there for a few months and then comes back. And he wins the 2015 Royal Rumble. Normally, that's cool. Yep, first time he's won it. That's alright. Except for the fact that we're at the point where Daniel Bryan should be winning this.
Mm-hmm. In his absence, we've built up somebody else.
No. Daniel Bryan had his crowning moment last year at WrestleMania 30. Mm-hmm. His rise to the top started in 2012.
Okay.
Where he lost the World Heavyweight Championship to Sheamus in 12 seconds in the opening match. And he, the fans just went, well, that's shit. He's much better than that.
We paid for a match
and we got, even...
the fuck that just was.
Yeah. But also people weren't fully on board with Sheamus at that point. The way that it all happened didn't really work either, where Daniel Bryan kissed AJ Lee, who then turned around into a bro kick 1, 2, 3, all over. The bell rang as he was getting his good luck kiss. Turned around, bang, 1, 2, 3. That's it. Sheamus won the Royal Rumble that year too. Mm-hmm. So that was Sheamus's WrestleMania match for winning the Rumble. It was 12 seconds. But yeah, so then everybody sort of went, well, that's shit, and they just kept burying Bryan, and every time the fans went, no, he's great. Eventually they took over Raw. The fans actually hijacked Raw, got in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, yeah, anyway, so then at WrestleMania, it turned into, if Bryan can beat Triple H in the opener, he would then be put into the main event match, which was against Randy Orton and Batista. Okay. Batista had won the Rumble to get the world title match. Obviously, he won that. Then he won the main event. He tapped out Batista. And he was champion. Until the next night when it came out that he was injured and had to relinquish it.
Oh, shit.
This is around about the time too where he has to retire.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get to that. But yeah, so he's injured. He sort of comes back and yeah, we want Daniel Bryan to win the Rumble. Go to WrestleMania again. Become champion. Hooray. Well, that didn't happen. Mostly because Roman Reigns won the Rumble.
Right.
Everybody booed the shit out of that.
Yeah, so, well, let me get this straight. We've got a Roman Reigns who they tried to build up. No one was really loving it. He disappeared for a couple of months. And then he's just come back and won. With no build-up, no real love from the fans. Just...
Yeah, they just won because they wanted him to win.
Because they wanted to get back onto this face thing.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if I've explained the Rumble properly. The first two people enter the ring. Mm-hmm. Every 60 to 90 seconds, a new person comes out to the ring. Okay. This happens until all 30 people enter.
Yeah.
The only way to lose is to be thrown over the top rope, both feet touch the floor.
Mm-hmm.
We've done it before where they've gone over and one foot touch the floor. Yeah. So then they can get back in the ring. Also, if the refs don't catch that you've gone out, you can get back in the ring too. Stone Cold did that in 1996 and won the whole thing. So, yeah.
Get some people off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This was shortly before his Austin 316 promo, which launched him into the top guy.
Makes good viewing.
Anyway, so Roman wins. We're in Texas, I believe.
Yep.
And, well, the crowds booed and booed and booed. So they went, Rock, get out there and endorse your cousin. Well, The Rock came out and everybody went, oh, it's The Rock. And then he went, and it's Roman Reigns. Yeah, that's the guy. And everybody went, boo. And The Rock's there go,
If I can't recover this,
yeah, like,
shit, there's a problem going on.
What is this noise that is happening? I only ever get cheers, and this ain't that. Like, he has a very confused face at that point too. It's funny.
He's like, wow.
Yeah, I might even edit that in. We'll see. There's something wrong here.
There's a compilation of confused faces.
Yeah. So, we then move on to WrestleMania 31, and we're getting Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. And it's a good match, honestly. They don't tend to put on bad matches, Roman and Brock. You know Brock Lesnar?
No.
He used to be UFC champion.
Okay.
He was in WWE for a bit, about 2002.
Said, fuck this shit, I want to go.
Yeah, well,
octagon.
he come in, massive dude, right? Very big dude. Could easily eat a cow. Just, you know, he's massive.
Right, yep.
And he come in, pretty much first thing he did was beat The Rock for the WWE title.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, that's Brock.
Mm-hmm.
He then left for a while to go and join the NFL. He sort of did. I think he got drafted, but then they got rid of him.
Yeah. Sort of publicity stunt.
Yeah, and then at that point he went, well, I'm going to go to the UFC. Went to the UFC, pretty much won. I think he only lost like 3 fights or something. Won the world title, all that sort of shit. Then in 2012, come back, beat up John Cena, and he was back in WWE.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And he's still a big dude. Now he's a big dumb farmer.
Okay.
Even though he's not dumb. But he's a farmer. At SummerSlam this year, he came out in a tractor.
As you do,
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah.
Oh,
Just drove into
Yeah.
the stadium on his fucking putt.
yep, yeah, he did that, and it had a scoop on the front of it and everything. And in the end, he went and lifted the ring up with it.
Okay.
Yeah. He still lost the match to Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
This was another one of their fights.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, Brock Lesnar,
Okay. So
also, this is around about the time, well, the previous year from when he fought Roman at 31, he beat The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania.
right. So him and Roman make for really good matches because they're both ridiculously big dudes, heavy hitters.
Brock likes Roman, is what makes it a good match. If Brock doesn't like you, he will drop you on your head until you die.
Yeah.
Because it's Brock.
But because they sort of have more fun in their fights.
Yeah.
And it makes it entertaining.
Yeah, right. This first match was just a brawl. Roman got busted open hard way, which is bang.
Mm-hmm.
Bang, 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 and now you're bleeding.
Yeah.
So Brock just UFC'd him, essentially. Anyway, this was a great match, mostly for the ending, which saw Seth Rollins, the Money in the Bank holder. The Money in the Bank is a contract which you can cash in for a world title match at any point within a year. Sure. They hold one every year, and yeah, the winner of that's a ladder match. He won it earlier in the year thanks to the Authority, which is what he ended up joining when he turned on the Shield. Yeah, so he cashed it in the middle of this match, so it's the first time it's ever been cashed in a match, like during a match, and at WrestleMania.
Okay.
So he did that, and then sort of they went on for a little bit longer, but he ended up pinning Roman 1, 2, 3. He wins. Because everybody went, we don't like Roman, and Brock's only part-time.
So we needed someone else to come in. Was this, when he said, hey, I'm cashing this in, was it exciting? Was it
Yep, nobody expected it.
Yeah, good. Alright, well that's something.
And I don't even know if the commentators were expecting it by their reaction. Michael Cole made probably one of the greatest calls of his career when he said, this is the heist of the century.
Okay.
Because Rollins stole the title.
Yeah.
You know, 2 men entered the match, and neither of them left as champion. But yeah, Brock, also part-time, I believe his contract is something like $500,000 per appearance on weekly TV.
Wow, yeah.
$1 million for appearance at pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So he makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's all he's
Just
there for.
Showing up every once in a while.
Yep, that's why he's part-time, because we're not paying him.
He's at that point in his career, yeah.
Yeah, we're not paying him $500,000 to show up every week. But, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, that was the heist of the century, which was cool. Then Roman continued to just be sort of in and around the title picture. He got a bit of a run with the belt after Mania 32 the following year. Going into Mania 32 in 2016, he was champion come the Royal Rumble, where the Authority, this is another issue with this, is that they tried to replicate Stone Cold and Vince by doing Roman and the Authority.
Right.
Stone Cold and Vince worked because it was Stone Cold. He had the natural charisma to be able to...
And as we discussed last time, Vince is your ultimate heel.
Yeah.
He is... Because, everyone wants to beat up their manager.
Yeah. So now Triple H is in corporate now, so he is sort of the boss. He is Vince's stepson, or son-in-law, I mean. So the authority is Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Kane, Big Show, J&J Security, Seth Rollins, and whoever else is in there that I can't think of.
Bit of a mess.
Yeah, well, no, not even. It's just Randy Orton, he's also in there. There's just a few people in there. And so they're sort of trying to do Roman versus Triple H. Okay. But the authority just keep, putting him down. So the authority says, at the Royal Rumble, the title will be on the line in the Rumble match. So instead of winning the Rumble and getting a main event shot at the title at Mania, you win the belt.
Right. Right here.
Which then pretty much guarantees that you'll be at WrestleMania to fight someone.
Yeah.
So that happens, and then they also go, oh, Roman, you're coming out first. So you have to defend it the whole way through.
All the way through, right. You've got all 30 people to brawl.
Also, at this stage, they also had an alliance with the League of Nations, which had Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio. Sheamus is Irish. Del Rio's Mexican. Wade Barrett, he's English. And Rusev, he's Russian, but Bulgarian. Like, it's the same sort of thing. So they're in league with them as well. So, entry number 1 comes out, it's Roman. Entry number 2 comes out, it's Rusev. That's alright, they sort of do a bit. I can't remember what point in the match, but I think it was before entrant number 10 had come out. Roman had already been taken out, not eliminated, just taken out, put through the announce table and everything, and taken to the back.
Right.
Everybody can see what this means. He's coming out later, isn't he? They've just taken him out of the match, so he can come back.
So he doesn't have to fight everyone.
No.
That'd be unrealistic for him to last the whole way through.
Oh, Shawn Michaels has, Chris Benoit has. They've won it from number 1.
But we need him to make it to the end because we're trying to sell him.
Yeah. We need him to come, What they're trying to do is this big, he's been taken out, will he come back? Like this big Superman.
Suspense, but it's like, you see what you're
doing. We see right through that. Because the story you're telling us is Roman Reigns is this big thing that we're pushing.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to say that
are we pushing him?
Yeah. Like, you just... It's too subtle, I guess, is the way to put it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just... Oh, look at what's happened now.
Yeah.
What's going to happen next? And it's like, obviously. How... I think a 3-year-old wouldn't fall for that.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of them sorts of things.
I'd be shocked if you didn't do it.
Yeah. I'd be shocked if it just ended.
Yeah.
But also, in the 2016 Royal Rumble, AJ Styles debuted. And instead of focusing on who's coming out, because AJ was a free agent at the time. The biggest free agent of the time. And everybody's there going, is he coming, is he coming, is he coming? And this music hit that nobody knew because he'd never been in WWE before.
Yeah. And
instead of going, here's AJ Styles, and having it on the sort of, like, the entrance, they had it on Roman, and Roman's face, and what his reaction was. So everybody's there going, who's this? And then sort of the crowd pops when it goes, I am phenomenal, because AJ's thing is that he's the phenomenal one. Right, we don't see that at home. They see that at live, so then they all pop to go, oh, it's AJ.
You're hearing the crowd going wild, you're hearing the music, but all you're seeing is Roman standing there going,
who is that?
What the fuck?
Yeah. And then it sort of cuts and AJ walks out, and then everybody goes, oh, it's AJ. I go, oh, it's AJ, and everybody else goes, who the hell is AJ Styles? Because they don't know wrestling. And, yeah, so that's another issue because it's just all focused on Roman.
Yeah.
You're not focusing on everyone else. Anyway. Yeah, so at about entrant number 29, out comes Sheamus. And as he's walking to the ring, guess who makes an appearance?
Roman?
No, it was Seth Rollins.
Oh, Rollins.
Yeah, no, it was Roman. Yeah, so Roman comes back out, starts beating him up, and starts eliminating people, as you do, because we're getting to the end. So Dean Ambrose is in the ring. I think Bray Wyatt's in the ring. Sheamus is in the ring, and there might be one or two others. Entrant 30 comes out, and it's only Triple H.
Right. So no big, exciting reveal for 30.
No, it's Triple H. Like, he wasn't announced. It's a surprise. But also, it's Triple H, who's here to screw Roman, like they've been doing for the past hour.
You could have done anything else with this match.
Yeah, and also not only have they been doing it for the past hour, but they've been doing it for the past
month.
Easily a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so Triple H comes out. In the end, it comes down to two people, Triple H and Dean Ambrose. Mm-hmm. Roman got eliminated. At that point, though, you can probably guess where they're going for WrestleMania. It's going to be Roman Reigns versus Triple H.
No, really?
So that means that the other person in the ring that isn't Roman Reigns
is going to lose.
Yeah. So Dean, just got beat.
It's also a little anticlimactic to have Roman come out first, disappear, come back, and then, he's eliminated? It was like...
Yeah. I mean, most people did think that he was going to win, though. I thought he was going to win.
Yeah, you
didn't. So it was a surprise that he got eliminated, but after that it was obvious Triple H was winning.
It wasn't a good surprise. It was kind of like...
Yeah. It was like, hang on. They're going to do a big crowning moment at Mania where Roman is crowned as champion by beating Triple H. They did do a few good spots where it looked like Hunter was eliminated.
Okay.
By Ambrose.
Yeah.
At the end, they sort of did it, and then
so they put on a decent fight.
Yeah, and the crowd actually popped every time Triple H was almost eliminated. The crowd went and then boo, that sucks. Yeah. So for 2 years in a row, they've shit on the Rumble. The greatest match ever.
Yeah.
Because the Royal Rumble, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You don't know who's coming out, when they're coming out, or anything. You get AJ Styles' debut. You don't show it, but you get it. Imagine if they did show it. But, yeah, you get all that sort of shit. Edge's return from injury in 2020. He had retired due to neck injuries. And they were saying when he retired in 2011 that if he took... even if he fell over, he had a chance of being paralysed.
Wow.
Or dying.
Yeah.
That's how close he was.
That destabilised.
Yep. So when he come back in 2020, and he's still in there now, he's going to retire next year, I believe. Yeah, everyone went, holy shit, it's Edge. Which was great. I quite enjoyed it. Yeah, it's such a surprise. It's such a great match because you never know what's going to happen. Unless you do. They've shit on it twice. And they've made the winner predictable, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, once again, everybody's shitting on it, which means that we're going to WrestleMania, and it's Roman versus Triple H. And everybody knows Roman's winning. They know that, whatever. So that this show is also about 6 hours long, because it's WrestleMania back then. So, yeah, everybody's burnt out, and now we've got Roman and Triple H, who are going to go half an hour easily. And we know that Roman's going to win. He's not the greatest in the ring. He's not the greatest on the mic, so the build to the show isn't that great anyway.
No one's excited.
No, and so we get it. Roman wins, surprisingly.
Wow.
And
did Jews tank at all?
So, what do you reckon could have been done better?
Well, like you said, this is their second time trying to push someone and having the fans going, no. Look, which again is probably a little hard to predict.
Yeah.
Unless unless you're trying to push someone the fans already don't like. It's someone the fans like them as a group. They're like, hey, if we push him as a solo, it could work. So you can't blame them for trying.
No.
But to do it for a year, at least 2, pushing on to 2.
I mean, we haven't even gotten to WrestleMania 33 yet, where he beats The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Okay, so he's still going.
He's still going. It's like, it takes until the pandemic before they actually
You don't want to be seen to fold too easily to audience pressure, because that's almost worse. But at the same time, take a goddamn hint and change up something.
Yeah.
Do something. I don't know what you're gonna give us, but obviously, it wasn't working. It wasn't getting the reaction that they wanted, and I'm going to assume views were tanking because, as they should, when stuff gets predictable, it kind of. So as for what they should have done, I haven't heard a lot of opportunities where they, like how when we talked about the invasion, it was really obvious things that there were really obvious points at which they could have changed, but
Yeah.
they had like almost a split path and they took the wrong one every time.
Yeah.
With this, I think you really needed to. You're gonna have to give me something entirely new here.
Yeah, right. What they've done this time is they've gone from point A to point B. There is no split path.
No.
What they should have done is not gone from point A to point B.
Yeah.
They should have gone from point C to point D.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean, I didn't even get onto the promos.
And
At one stage, he told somebody. I think I wrote it down. I'll see if I can find it, because it was horrible.
Yeah. Obviously,
no, I don't know. I can't find it. But
and he's probably signed a contract for this as well, so they can't just drop him. But shake it up. Shake it up. Introduce some unpredictability, which, he was out for a couple of months. That's a bit hard. But I guess when he came back, don't just, let's just jump back on where we were. While he's gone for the couple of months, let's build up something a bit different so he's got something different to come back to, and then he has to work his way back in.
yeah.
Make it interesting. And obviously that Rumble that you talked about was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
A predictable mess from the word go. Some bad writing.
Yeah.
And for God's sake, get someone to work on his fucking acting skills. Put him in a boot camp.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember the exact promo, how it was worded. But, the cat from Looney Tunes that hunts Tweety Bird?
Sylvester.
Yeah, that's his name. He used his catchphrase. Suffer and succotash. Yeah. It was something like, you're just a snivelling little piece of suffering succotash.
A grown-ass 7-foot Samoan dude drops a Looney Tunes line.
Oh, yeah. And he's meant to be a badass.
As a diss.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a badass. You hear what he just said?
Yeah. That's a...
Yeah, he's the next guy. Yeah. So, yes.
That's not an moment. That's a what?
No. An moment is when Paige's sex tape got released and Xavier Woods was in it, and the Usos turned around and said, let's keep this PG and not get all rated R like your boy Xavier Woods. That was a bit of an moment, like.
That's enough.
Yeah, they killed him. He dead. So, yeah. Oh, shit. But, anyway. So, how I would do it better.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. So, we're going to keep the start of it the same. The Shield's going to break up normal.
Yeah,
that's exactly how it should have happened.
We can't rewrite an idea without keeping the idea.
Yeah.
We can't just throw out the whole thing because it was bad. You've got to redo it.
Yeah, so We keep that the same because it was great. Honestly, it was great. And then we keep the Rollins and Dean sort of stuff, but a big reason why we turned on Roman was because Rollins and Dean are fighting. Roman's gone, oh, now I'm fighting these guys over here. I don't care about what that is like.
Yeah.
You know, he hit me with a chair and broke our group up at the height of our popularity. I don't care. I'm fighting over it.
Right, okay, so I sort of obviously missed that a bit earlier. Right.
Yeah, I don't think I specifically stated that.
Their group's broken up, and then they just moved them into separate things, doing their, their cell fight and him going off to do his hero shit. They didn't feud over the fact their group had broken up at all. So that's poor.
No, in real life, they sort of didn't really do much with Roman and Seth.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody was sort of around this point talking about the Shield triple threat, because we were thinking at some point, like they were teasing that Ambrose might turn on them.
Yeah.
And we were thinking like maybe we'll get Rollins versus Ambrose versus Roman.
Yeah, which would be, it'd be nice to see the Shield fight each other.
That would be money.
Powerhouse that's beaten up everyone else as a team. Now to see the team in fight.
Yeah. Right? And everybody's there going like, that could be really good.
Mm.
It doesn't matter how we get there, as long as we get...
Well, shit, we already have an answer to that question. I literally asked it earlier. Who was the leader of the group? There wasn't one. Have a fight over it.
Yeah. So, in real life, what they ended up doing was Roman was champion going into the 2016 Money in the Bank. So this is after his fight with Triple H. He then... Rollins also injured his knee in November of 2015.
Okay, so that was his 3-month out? Or his couple of months, however many out?
Yeah, like he did his ACL, MCL and meniscus.
Yeah.
It's just, boom. It was dead. So he was gone. He was champion at the time. He was gone.
Wow. That's a tricky thing to ride around, I suppose.
Yeah, right. And that's where Roman actually won the belt for the first time, because they held a tournament and I think it come down to Reigns versus Ambrose or something. Reigns won. Sheamus cashed in his Money in the Bank. 1, 2, 3, he wins. And then they took that back off of him by the end of the year. And then Roman went into Rumble as champion. So Rollins had come back shortly after, I think it was Extreme Rules, which was the pay-per-view after Mania, I think.
Yeah.
And he attacked Roman, and it seemed that he was going to rejoin the Authority. He sort of came back, but there was something different.
Okay.
They seemingly didn't have the faith in him that they had before he was injured.
That he could carry it, yeah.
So at Money in the Bank, he walks in to fight Roman. Roman's champion, and Rollins wins. Previously in the night, Dean Ambrose won the Money in the Bank. Come down, cashed in, 1, 2, 3. He's new champion. He beat Rollins.
Yeah.
So then at the next show, Battleground, which is discontinued. I think it ran for about 2 or 3 years and it's been discontinued. Mm-hmm. So that shows how big of a show this is.
Really?
We got Roman versus Rollins versus Dean.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time they fought each other.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
This is after the big boom of they broke up.
Mm-hmm.
This is after everybody's turned on Roman. This is after all the hype.
It's too late. You can't, yeah.
Yeah, there's no hype behind it. So I think we need to do that when there's some hype.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it would have been a good match, like you said.
Yeah.
You've got 3 very different wrestlers. We're a team, beloved team. To see them fight would have been hype.
Yeah. So, what we do is we have Rollins turn on the Shield like he does. And then we go into Roman and Dean as a team, because they both got turned on.
Because they got turned on together.
Versus Rollins and Orton, because Orton's a part of the Authority.
Right.
Like, he's Triple H's right-hand man at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And the Authority wasn't even a thing. He was just a part of Evolution.
Yep.
Triple H is the boss, so he's not going to put himself in there, is he?
No, well...
Why the hell would you do that? They're pissed at you.
Build up the big boss, obviously.
Yeah. So, at Money in the Bank, which is the show that we're at this point, we had that match. And we have Rollins and Orton win with Triple H's help because, obviously, you've just turned Rollins heel. He needs to be winning to build him up a bit more. Yeah. Also, having Triple H help makes sense because they're the bad guys.
Your villain's got to win for a little bit,
Yeah. But every show, the Shield Boys, which is what I'm calling Roman and Dean, I'll just keep calling them the Shield, they attack Rollins. Oh, they attack Rollins and Orton. But every single time Rollins escapes.
Okay.
Orton gets beaten down every single time.
Yeah.
And
you've created the two chasing the one.
Yeah.
And he's just recruiting people to help him, but they keep losing.
So, Rollins just keeps getting away. Orton keeps taking it. Orton then goes, I've had enough of this shit. I'm not getting beaten up every week. That's your problem. You can deal with it. So, the match is made at Battleground. We have Ambrose versus Rollins. And Rollins wins by disqualification because Roman can't stop himself from attacking Rollins. Because it makes sense. Roman wants a piece of Rollins as well. Just as much as Dean.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he can't hold himself back and he has to attack him. At SummerSlam, we then get Rollins beating Roman by disqualification when Dean attacks. Because, Ambrose didn't get his shake, did he?
No.
It wasn't a fair one. He lost because Roman attacked.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Then from here we have Roman and Ambrose turning on each other because you cost me. No, you cost me.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, yeah. So you've got... I was about to say those, for them to both do it one after the other, little obvious, but then to create this...
We're creating friction between the two of them.
I can pay that, yeah.
Because they need something, because you can't do, put them on a team versus Rollins.
No.
Otherwise...
that's going to get stagnant.
Yeah. That sort of being too obvious that Rollins is going to lose that. It's 2-on-1, essentially.
Yeah.
So, at Night of Champions, we have Roman versus Ambrose. Roman wins that because we're going to be pushing Roman, obviously. Also at Night of Champions, we get Brock Lesnar versus John Cena and Seth Rollins in a triple threat match for the title. And Rollins pins Cena, become the champion. The Authority help out to keep the belt on Rollins because Cena, Lesnar, Ambrose, Roman, everyone's coming after him. Right, and you can get away with making that triple threat match because he's on Triple H's side, Triple H matches. That makes sense. Right, He wants Rollins to have the belt, Rollins gets the belt. And with it being triple threat means that there's no disqualification or anything, so they can just help out.
Your heel's still influencing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, Randy's coming for him as well, because he's been beaten up because of Rollins.
Yeah.
And he also wants the belt, because, of course he wants the belt.
Yeah.
The whole point is that everybody wants the belt.
Yeah, and they will turn on their teams to get it.
Your belt doesn't mean anything if people go, I don't really want that. If you didn't have that, I'd come after you.
My loyalty to my team can't come above the belt, otherwise...
The belt doesn't mean as much.
It loses its...
Yeah. So, on the way to Hell in a Cell, Ambrose gets the jump on Rollins, and Rollins tells Triple H that he wants Ambrose away permanently. He wants to put Ambrose away permanently inside Hell in a Cell. Because we want to keep that match for real life.
Okay.
When I was coming up with this, I thought I'd need to keep that match because it was great.
Yeah.
So, how do we do this? We have Ambrose attack Rollins, and Rollins say, I want him in Hell in a Cell. That keeps that match. Also inside Hell in a Cell, we're getting Lesnar versus Cena versus Roman, number one contenders, and Cena wins. Going into Survivor Series, Cena says that he'll put a team together to face the Authority. If his team wins, then the Authority's out. Exactly how it happened in real life, pretty much.
And all this time, we're still painting Roman as a face.
Well,
he's just a more interesting face.
He's in the main event scene. He's mixing it up with Cena,
Yeah.
Lesnar, and all of them.
Yeah.
So we're still doing what we're doing, but we've kept it in the story.
Yeah, and we haven't ditched the other parts of the Shield.
Yeah.
Because they were what made him interesting.
Yeah. And so we're keeping it all sort of together. And in real life, in 2014, we had Team Authority versus Team Cena. If Team Cena won, the Authority disbanded. Okay. Or were fired, actually. They were out of power.
Yeah.
If the Authority won, then I think the entirety of Team Cena was fired.
Okay. Because they were...
Because they were opposing him.
Well, and the Authority were already in power. It's like, we can take you out of power. No, we're going to fire you. Yeah. We'll get rid of you permanently.
Yeah. And so, this time, we have an added clause to this. If Team Cena wins, Cena gets Rollins one-on-one. No interferences, no nothing. If the Authority wins, he'll never challenge for the title as long as Rollins has it. Mm-hmm. Adds a bit more to it. Does make it a bit obvious that Cena's winning, but I think
there's going to be some obvious points.
Even when you look at it, that Team Cena's going to be fired anyway. Mm-hmm. It's obvious that he's not losing because you're not going to fire them 5 people.
No.
So, I think, it plays out the same way as it did in real life. But we have Roman and Dean a part of Team Cena so that they can get their hands on Rollins as well.
Yep.
But it's essentially the same as what happened in real life. And you keep the ending the same, which was 3-on-1. I mean, you can sort of change it a little bit, but I'm not going to go into it. But in real life, it was 3-on-1 for Team Cena. Mm-hmm. They were 1.
Oh.
And there was Rollins and a couple of others that I can't remember on the other side. Dolph Ziggler was the sole survivor here. Right, Ziggler, who has had some highs, but mostly lows, is sort of in the middle. He's really, really good, right? He should be used more. He should be a top guy, but they just don't.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so everybody went, oh, it's Dolph. Sure, he might take out 1 or 2 people.
This is a bit of fun, but...
But, and Rollins is just going to stomp him and win, right? So, he took out 1 person. He took out a 2nd person. It come down to Rollins. Mm-hmm. He almost took out Rollins.
Okay.
And then the Authority got involved, pulled the ref out of the ring, all that sort of shit. Decked the ref, beat up Ziggler.
Took over
Triple H pedigreed Ziggler, hit him with his finisher and everything, dropped Rollins on top of Ziggler, and as the ref, if there was a new ref or whatever, counted 1, 2, lights went out. Sting showed up. Took out the ref, took out Triple H, took out Rollins, dragged Ziggler on top. The original ref got the ring. 1, 2, 3. Ziggler won.
Nice.
That's how they brought Sting in. Which is cool. I think keep that the same because you're bringing Sting in.
That's
fine.
Awesome, yeah.
If we're going along from the universe that we've already created, however, with the invasion, Sting's already been in. But you can bring him back at this point. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
Yeah, so then next at TLC, we get Cena versus Rollins title on the line because Team Cena won. Mm-hmm. And Rollins wins, obviously, because we're not having him lose yet. At the Royal Rumble, Brock gets his shot, but with the help of the Authority, Rollins wins.
Again, okay.
Yeah.
We're getting a little dragged out at this point, but...
Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble, same as real life.
Okay.
However... Hopefully, we've sort of made him more interesting and
it's exciting that he won.
Yeah,
we're sick of seeing Rollins.
Yeah.
And it's cool that Roman won.
Yeah.
We've
got this
awesome
heel that's at the top.
We're fucking done with.
Yeah.
And so ultimately,
I'm putting more life in Roman.
You're putting more life. Yeah, you're not.
I'm not sending him out there to die.
He wasn't a. Yeah, I get I see what you've done here. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've improved your face by improving your heels.
Yeah. And the point of Rollins always winning is that everybody's like, now I want to see him beat.
Yeah.
Why isn't he beaten now?
To have a good face, you've got to have your heels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to have your Vince to your Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Stone Cold doesn't work as well.
If your Vince isn't hated, then no one gives a fuck.
No. So, yeah. And...
We're not here to see the hero win, we're here to see the villain lose.
Yeah.
Is kind of what you were going for.
And with the authority always helping him, it's sort of... Can he do it by himself?
Yeah. And
so then in the end, you're also creating this monster babyface in Rollins when he turns on the authority and does everything he did with them by himself.
Yeah.
Like, you've got this other thing sitting there just bubbling away under the surface, out of mind, until it happens.
Yeah.
Also, I did say about Rollins getting injured. I feel that if he's not in that situation in which he got injured,
he might not have been injured.
He won't be injured.
Because
at this stage, we haven't even really talked about Kane. Kane became Demon Kane again around this time. And it was in a match against Kane that he did his knee.
Right.
So if he's not in that match against Kane, he doesn't do his knee.
He doesn't do his knee. Even if he... Yeah.
Yeah, like if he does, then you obviously got to change it. But I feel that at that point, you would maybe put the belt on Roman.
For the sake of this storytelling, we're going to say he didn't do his knee.
Yeah. So then, after Roman wins the Rumble, Dean, obviously, is sort of left out at this point.
Yeah, well.
So at Fastlane, which is the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, he sort of goes to Triple H and says, I want a match against Roman at Fastlane. If I win, I'm in the match at WrestleMania. We already know the match at Mania is Rollins versus Roman. Triple H, who's going to be there going, well, if it's triple threat, then disqualifications don't matter. And also, it gives Rollins a bit of help, regardless, because there's somebody else to beat him up.
Yeah.
So he says, yep, okay, Ambrose versus Roman. If Ambrose wins, goes on to WrestleMania. Ambrose wins.
Okay.
So, guess where we're at? We're at WrestleMania 31, and we got the friggin' Shield triple threat. From June the previous year to April, we've built this up.
Yeah. We've disbanded them. We've had them feuding.
Yeah.
Against each other at different points, different alliances. More interesting stuff has happened. We're going to pretend he didn't hurt his knee.
Yeah.
And now we're at the end. And we're going to, end this triple feud sort of thing that's happening.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to grand finale this shit.
Yeah, this is the end. This is the Shield triple threat. What everybody's sort of going, we're going to get this.
And now it's a story.
Yeah, now it's a story with Roman should be loved, Ambrose should be loved, and Rollins should be hated.
Yeah.
The only issue that we have with this match is that we don't get the cash in at WrestleMania.
Which was a big oof moment, as we discussed earlier, but...
Maybe you do it next year.
Can we live without it? Yeah.
Like, you can do it next year. Next year's actually in a bigger stadium. Next year is bigger. It's in Texas. Everything's bigger. So, I think that even if you just delayed it until then, that would work.
Put it in the ideas bank.
So, main event of WrestleMania 31, the Shield Triple Threat. Roman Reigns pins Seth Rollins to win the title. And you can go on to have, Dean can turn around and say, well, I beat you at Fastlane. I want the next shot. Because, obviously, at that same point, you can have Randy go, right, you've put all that behind you. Now I want you to Rollins because he got beat up because of Rollins.
And now we can move on to almost what they did, where Rollins can go on and do all these individual stuff.
Yeah.
But now we have a reason to like him.
Yeah. Yeah,
Roman, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and not only that, though, you can also build up Triple H versus Roman at WrestleMania. Like they did in
Triple H has been this background villain the whole way through without really ever having a fight.
He's the puppet master and Rollins is the puppet.
And so now you've created a season 2 where we fight the puppet master.
Yeah. And
with a lovable hero.
At that point, pretty much you can, after WrestleMania 32, you can say Roman beats Triple H. Might be obvious. The way you get there is a bit iffy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you got there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and actually, I just realised that at the point when I was saying that Rollins does his knee, I was a year ahead of myself.
Oh, okay.
So he doesn't actually do his knee there because he hadn't won the belt because he won the belt at Mania 31. So
right.
he doesn't even. It's all right. It's fine.
Cool.
We don't have to worry about that. But we can even still. He doesn't do his knee this time.
Yeah.
But yeah. So at WrestleMania 32, Triple H, Roman wins, and then somewhere in there you can have Dean take the belt off him or something, and he can still go on to do Undertaker versus Roman Reigns at Mania 33, and hopefully you sort of have Roman, like you can have Roman win again, I guess. If you want to really cement him, he's beaten The Undertaker at WrestleMania. People will probably still boo, but that's the perfect time to turn him heel anyway.
Yeah.
Because he's been babyface for nearly 3 years or whatever.
Well, it's really long enough.
Have him win, have him beat Undertaker like he did in real life without the botches, because it was a very botch-heavy match. And then the next night on Raw should happen exactly the way that it did anyway, where the crowd booed him for 10 minutes. He come out to cut a promo, stood in the ring, the crowd booed for 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes, and he said, "This is my yard now," turned around and left.
Yeah.
That's the perfect start to a heel turn. WWE, however, went, and he's still a good guy.
No.
He's a good guy. It's Roman Reigns. He's the face of the company. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And everybody went, "What?
Yeah.
No,
Gotcha.
you idiot." And yeah, like I said, it took until the pandemic before they actually took him off TV, because he's somebody that's had leukemia and whatnot, so they took him off.
He's got enough going on, yeah.
Well, if he got COVID, that'd be very bad for him. So they sort of went, "Oh, well, you can go home. That's okay." And then they brought him back after they'd sort of...
COVID saved everything.
Yeah. And then when he come back as a heel. And he's been that heel since. And
Makes a good heel?
Yeah, well, he won the title in... I think he come back in the July. Won the title in the August, I believe. Either that or he come back in the June, won it in July. Doesn't matter. And he's held it ever since.
Okay.
He's still champion now. And that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's over 700 days as Universal Champion.
Wow.
He won the WWE title at SummerSlam this year.
And are we sick of him being there?
He's running out of people to fight.
Right.
And, I mean, I've been saying it for the past year and a half at least. He's not losing the belt until he fights Rock at Mania.
Okay.
Which was, I'm pretty sure, was meant to happen this year, but didn't. So we got Brock again.
Yeah.
And so now it's happening next year in Hollywood, which would make more sense.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Sort of a Rock.
Yeah, we're thinking The Rock is going to win. I've also heard that there is no plans to take the belts off Roman until after Mania, when he fights The Rock.
Okay.
So, yeah, at this stage he's going to be champion until April. So anybody doing predictions that are watching this, he's not losing until then. Do not bet against Roman. But yeah, so, what do you reckon?
What do I reckon? Look, it's still a massively drawn out thing to have someone as a main character for so long. Is obviously going to have... It's going to be hard. It's going to have its hard points. It's going to have sort of boring points. Like anything, you're going to have sort of dead points, but I think you've definitely... I can see what you've done to make it more interesting. And by... I guess it was hard for them to predict...
Reaction.
I kind of want to say it's hard for them to predict that they were going to have him as their face for so long, but at the same time, the fact that they've done it, the fact that they've kept pushing it for so long, they were going to have him as face for so long. So the way you've used the first year to build him up as a good face, not throwing him in as the unbeatable face from day one. There's no build up and there's no love, so it's really difficult to do. But the way you've had a better heel and multiple sort of things going on, and have him slowly rise up out of it all as our star. I mean, you simultaneously sort of have Ambrose as probably, I would imagine, the fact that you're still pushing Roman as a face, and then you've got Ambrose as sort of a good guy but not the main face. I feel like fans are going to gravitate towards that a little bit, because obviously the that's always going to be like, but either way,
it's what the company wants, so
but
him.
But still, you've made Roman a better face.
Yeah, you've
made him a face. We have a reason to love him, and then going into your second year and so on,
he can coast off of what we've done.
People, there might be people who get sick of him, but other people will, be like, oh, remember these things. This is why we love him.
Yeah.
And then as well, that's going to be better for when he turned heel.
Yeah.
The better the hero, the better when he turns heel.
Yeah. The ultimate good guy turning into a bad guy
is gonna do better as a bad guy.
Yeah, that's how you draw money. You have such a good guy and then shockingly turn into a bad guy.
Yeah.
It's what just happened.
And it gives you the chance to build up your next faces.
Yeah.
When your hero turns bad, someone's got to fill that void.
Yeah.
And the bigger the void, the more exciting those new people are.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it right now with Roman Reigns as the bad guy as he is right now,
who filled that void?
Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
And then he got beat.
Oh.
They just beat him at Clash the other day.
Okay.
And that's fine because he was sort of there for something, but now we got nobody. However, I think right now what they're doing is playing into the fact that we know he's not losing until until after the Rock. I think they know that we know that, so they just sort of go, "It's okay. It doesn't matter what we do." They know this.
Yeah.
But also, you've got Cody Rhodes, who was injured. He is technically the biggest babyface in the company at the moment. There with Drew, I guess. And he's currently injured. And we know that Cody's taken the belt off of him after WrestleMania.
Okay.
That's sort of what they're doing. But you got to get there.
Cool.
But yeah. And yeah, so that's...
Right.
Yeah, I guess that has been it for the second episode of Stupid Ideas from Bad Creative. This is the Roman Reigns push, post-Shield breakup push. I've been joined by Sid. You can say goodbye if you want.
Well, until next time.
Okay. Yeah, like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit notification bell, follow the Facebook, Twitter and Twitch. Links to those are in the description. Let me know what you thought of the episode and how you think they could have dealt with the Roman situation better.
This one's a little bit more complicated. We could get some interesting responses.
Yeah. Let us know all that in the comment section. And other than that, thanks for watching. Goodbye and good night.